Hi guys, Joe here. Oh wow, I'm feeling really perplexed. I actually jumped on to do this video. I think this is the fourth time I've tried to do this video now. But I wanted to talk about seeing the unseen. But I've had a bit of it's not a devastating blow, it's more of a frustrating blow. And I think I'm going to start a course, a spiritual course on it. Make a little bit of extra money for anyone who wants to hit like and subscribe. My van went in for its MOT yesterday and failed, and it's going to be over £1,000 to get repaired. So I was like, well, I don't really want to get it repaired because I'm not using it as I intended to buy it. The intention behind me buying it was to actually go out, do a bit of camping in it, train my cats. But the reality is, Rufus is far, far, far too nervous. Alma, I think, would be too nervous. I'm just actually halter training Neve and Alma at the moment. Neve is starting to go outside. She's such a little doll. She sits at the door, sits there like a little dog waiting for a halter to go on. And when the door opens, she steps out. But she's still a little bit scared about going outside. Um, so I don't think the idea of going away camping with my cats is ever going to come into fruition because I wouldn't be able to leave Rufus at home on his own if I did get Alma and Neve acquainted to van life. And equally, I wouldn't be able to take Neve alone because I just don't think it would be fair. Plus, the fact my business ties me here, my horses tie me. So I was gonna flog my van. I thought I'd get an offer between maybe 2 and 4K for it because it is fully kitted out. It is an off-grid conversion. I paid 13.5K for it 2 years ago, and I was offered between £800 and £900. So I'm just deliberating on my options at the moment. I've still got my TT. Somebody offered to buy my TT off me for 2K because it's a very rare car. They only built 1,000 of this particular model. And they're like gold just to get hold of. And long story short, I couldn't get in my car because it's been off the road for the last 6 months or so, and I'd let the battery go completely flat, and I couldn't even get in it. So I had to get a key guy out. He couldn't get in it. He called one of his mates who works for the AA, and he offered me 2K to buy it because he loves the cars, and he said you can't get hold of these. And anyway, I declined because I equally love the car, but that's due for its MOT as well, and that's knocking at the back. And that was the reason why I took it off the road in the first place. Was like, I haven't got the money to get it repaired at the moment. So I will use my van because there's no point having two vehicles, both taxed and insured, on the drive, not being used. So I sawned my car um, and started using my van, which has been absolutely great actually for going to the horses because I can get changed in the back. It's great for carrying horse feed and hay and all the usual heavy stuff that you don't really want to put into the back of a TT. Although I have been using my TT for that purpose for the last 17 years that I've owned the car. So out of the two cars, I kind of feel that I would rather spend the money on the TT. If you've got any insight, give me your little digits in the comments below. But I kind of feel that I would rather spend the money on the TT. So my idea was, well, I'll just deal with the van as and when. So leave it sat there until I've got the money, basically till my site fees are paid for, because my site fees are a noose around my neck. They're business expenses, and it's something that I have to accept with the business. Um, so um, so then speaking to my friend this morning, she said, well, how are you going to get it MOT? I said, well, I'll just insure it when I need to take it to the garage. Well, she went, well, you won't be able to insure it because you won't have an MOT. And I was like, oh, yikes. I never thought of that. It needs some welding work done on it, basically. And the garage that MOT'd it can't do the welding work because they haven't got the time to do it within the time frame. And that's another pressure I'm feeling as well. You've got like 10 days to get it done. So then I've now got to find a garage that will do the welding work that's going to do it at a decent price if indeed I decide to get it done. Otherwise, I just take the hit and go, do you know what? I've made a loss. It won't be the first time, and I don't think it will be the last time, but I am fast learning on mistakes. So going back to the course that I'm going to create is come to me when you feel like making impromptu emotional purchases and you've got the potentiality of you losing absolutely shitloads of money. And look, I get that. You know, vehicles they depreciate, but I didn't expect to lose all the 13.5K because I thought camper vans were holding their value. And I thought, do you know what? It would maybe be a decent project for somebody. It's got the bed in there, it's got the cooker, it's got the little kitchen area. It does need a bit of a tidy up because I'd ripped the seats out and yeah, it needs a bit of a tidy up. So, and I haven't got the resources to spend on it, and I can't do the work myself to spend it that needs doing it in order to make it actually comfortable for me to go and camping if I wanted to go and take a couple of nights. And if I did want to take one of the cats, you know, space for the litter tray. Anyway, blah blah. So we shall see how much the car's going to cost because I think that's going to be the real deciding factor. But I've just re-taxed the car and 450 quid. I remember when tax for that car was 150 quid a year. But anyway, you know, they love to rip us off, don't they? Make sure squeeze us as much as we can, as much as they can. Anyway, on another note, my hair is the colour that I wanted it originally. Obviously, I've got rid of the blue because I've used henna this time. And the secret ingredient to actually getting this colour was da 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 turmeric. Yep, good old Indian spice. So I had a look on YouTube last night about putting turmeric in henna. And yes, it's not harmful. Absolutely, it's not because you can ingest turmeric. But there were some people actually dyeing their hair with just turmeric, and it was coming out in this really vibrant yellow. And I have to say, it looked amazing. Not something I'm going to attempt. I think the blue was the bravest, the most extravagant that I would be prepared to go. But yes, so anyway, waffling aside, I actually attempted to do this video over the last, well, since yesterday afternoon, to talk about seeing the unseen and what one can expect when they do tap into the unseen realms within our universe. Now, those of you who follow me, thank you. It's appreciated. Those of you who listen to my wafflings, may have seen my video that I did on the mushroom ceremony and the experience that I had. And it was a beautiful, wonderful experience. I traveled through the different realms, beings. I saw beings. I felt energies from my mum and the cats and other energies coming in. It was an amazing experience. And after that experience, for about a week, I was microdosing Amanita, and my senses were really heightened. I was motivated. I felt I was on the ball intellectually, like boom, 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 boom. You know, I was coming up with all these, and I was having conversations, and I was just spewing all this stuff out. And the lad I was talking to said, "God, you're really on the ball, Joe." You know, and I was like, "Yeah." I think it's the wearing off of the psilocybin and the Amanita I was taking. But equally, I was doing meditation and breath work because I desperately wanted to get that experience back. Um, Obviously, without the help of the mushrooms. And I was on Reddit yesterday, and I can't remember what I was researching. Um, but I came across a post of somebody who was a psychonaut. Now, a psychonaut, if you don't know, is somebody who takes psilocybin, magic mushrooms on a regular basis. Not possibly to the depth that I went to, but you know, just for the heightened senses, the feeling that it gives you. And of course, you'd seen the geometric shapes and the colors that you see when you're on psilocybin. You know, yeah, you see the matrix for the matrix that it is, and you can tap into the unseen, one could say. And his question was, or their question, I don't know if they're male or female, their question was, will your visions be as intense as what you experience when you were on psychedelics? And the answer was no. And that actually really helped me, and it helped to ground me with the experience that I've had with the unseen realms. Now, anyone that's watched my conversation with Michael Feely, which was the last video that I did, I talked about a meditation that I'd recently had, and Anubis. I had a vision of Anubis, one of the Greek gods. And then as soon as I became consciously aware, I was outside of one of the pyramids. And again, consciously aware, I jumped to what I now know from Michael is the Sea of Reeds, which is the Egyptian afterlife. So if you haven't watched that video, go, because again, there's loads of juicy nuggets in that conversation. But the visions were very faint. It was more of a feeling, as I said in my conversation with Michael, the vision of Anubis was more like Snoopy, but I knew it was Anubis. I felt it. And then, and what was really weird and why I invited Michael onto my channel after that meditation was he posted something, a picture of Anubis on his Facebook feed. So of course, then that triggered me to, hey, do you want to come and have a conversation about Egypt, yada, yada, yada. And then after my conversation with Michael, I did a meditation and I had like this critter I was in a circle. Now, usually my meditations are pretty much the same. It's almost like with every meditation, I can't break through. If I do feel like I enter into a different realm, it's the same realm, and it's on very, very rare occasions where I've had a breakthrough, shall we say. So about 4 years ago, I started taking a product called Clean Slate, and it's a heavy metal detoxer. If anybody's interested, I am an affiliate for that product. I don't push it, I don't sales pitch it because I don't like selling stuff, but it is a great product. So if anybody's interested, send a message and I'll send you a link. But anyway, I digress. So when I'd started taking that, I started to see purple in my meditations and also an eye. Now, the purple I acquainted with the crown chakra, and the eye I acquainted with the third eye. Now I'm wondering actually if the eye is actually something to do with the Eye of Horus. Since since I've now got the Anubis connection to do a comparison. But anyway, so more often than not, that's what comes within my meditations: the purple, the black, and the eye. And the purple and the black, they intertwine, and it's almost like they're trying to travel down a void. Now, if you think about the film Flash Gordon, there's a scene where they're in the rocket and there's really cheesy 70s music. And they're going through what I can only describe as a black hole. And yet the vision that it gets, it's like it's a spiral. That's the kind of vision that I get when the black and the purple are merging. It's almost like it's trying to take me somewhere, but I can never quite get there. More recently, aside from the visions that I've had, I've had more black and dark lime green in my meditations. And then the last couple of times, it's just been like a black void where there's been nothingness. And in actual fact, I actually think that's a really good place to get to from what I've read in the magic course. I'm on the section talking about ritual now. And she says, every magician needs to be able to get themselves to a place of the no thing. But going back to this thing that was trying, so I was in a meditation, I was in a circle, and something was trying to get in. And the only way I could describe it is like a black worm, and it had teeth. It looked quite demonic. And it was trying to get in. Anyway, I banished it. I said, "You're not welcome here," and I banished you. And then it went. Now, again, what was interesting about that is a couple of days after that meditation, I had an image come up on my Facebook with that critter. And more recently, a couple of days ago, which I'll share this particular image, that image has been portrayed in a meme about shadow work. So I found that really interesting. But me being me and the suspicions I have, or I won't even call them suspicions, the existential questions that I have about our reality, which I can tie myself in knots around, what is this reality? What enters our mind? What we see when we are meditating? Is it real? So when I had the Anubis vision, and then I saw the photograph that Michael had put up, I didn't think anything of it. And it was actually only yesterday when it came to me when I was doing another version of this video. this thing was trying to get in the circle, and then of course it came up on my Facebook. Well, we know that whatever controls this realm, whether it be from the Gnostic perspective, which is the demiurge, which is AI, if I've had a vision and then it appears on my computer, is that a synchronicity? Or is it well, synchronicities are signs, or is it a manipulation from the external AI that is potentially controlling our minds? Who knows? I can't answer that question. I watched a really superb presentation from a German guy, and it is actually in one of my playlists. I can't remember which playlist, and if I remember when I'm doing the editing for this video, I'll link it in here. And he's talking about the graphene oxide and the nanotech that all of us have, whether you've taken that or not. Or shall I reiterate that we think we know? That we think we know, because that's the answer I've got for everything these days. We think we know, because I've come to the conclusion that we know nothing. But anyway, so I actually digress. Now, we know that we are governed by certain energies, whether they be astrological, whether they be from the collective consciousness, and then now can we start throwing in the AI element of things? We know that whoever they are, they've been controlling our perception for however long, for thousands of years, with the media, and the AI is just that extra step. Because I know that whatever technology is out there, well, I think I know based on my own experience, because that's all I can talk about now is my own experiences. A few years ago, I thought about a rug, and then I jumped on Facebook and I was being advertised rugs, and it was literally a thought. And this was before I actually knew about all the AI stuff and the transhumanism stuff. So how long have they been, or been able to, if indeed they can? It may be us that are doing it. We may be the ultra powerful ones. But it's just things to think about, and things that I certainly think about when we are going through our spiritual experiences. Is it us, or is it external factors? Like Logan from Decode Your Reality will say that we do not control our minds. It's controlled, because he decodes pretty much everything. And when you watch his decodes, you can actually say, yeah, he's pretty spot on. Like I had an astrological reading from Logan, incorporating the tarot, etc., etc. And he believes our realities are scripted. But he also believes that we do have the power of manifestation. So again, there's a duality, there's a conflict. But he just decodes on, let's say as an example, actors and the roles that they play in certain movies. It all stacks up with the day that they were born. Everything just stacks up that they were meant to play that role. Now, one could say that, well, I don't even know what to say on that, actually. No, I'm going to stop there, because I don't know what I can say to counter that, because I'm not a decoder myself. But what I can say about numerology, astrology, even tarot. Now, tarot is coming from our own subconscious. Tarot is a really decent tool, actually, to be able to understand our own subconscious. Like I asked a question the other day, because I've not been able to tap into what is my shadow self. What do I need to work on? It's clear that I'm suppressing stuff. I mean, these mistakes I make with money that I've been making all of my life. It's a pattern. It's a pattern that I recognize within myself. But what is creating that pattern within me? And it is to do with your shadow self. So I actually asked the question with my tarot, what is my shadow? And the two outer cards, the past and the future, were quite decent, but the present, it was about anger and frustration and bitterness. And I don't consider myself an angry person, and I don't consider myself a bitter person. But interestingly, the bitterness actually came up in my astrological reading as well. So maybe I am suppressing the bitterness that I'm feeling towards external factors that I think are having an influence on how I live my life. One could say as big as who we perceive control us. One could say as big as or as little as closer influences. But equally, I'm very much aware of we have to take responsibility for the decisions that we make because nobody else is in control of those decisions, only us. And taking responsibility of those decisions that we make then leads to acceptance, and acceptance is extremely important. Now, I read some of a book years ago called Fuck It, and it was basically if you can't change it, accept it. If you can change it, accept it. And it was the ultimate spiritual advice. I might do a course on that as well. I'm just picking up on all these people that are doing courses and, um, just trying to be a little bit, fun with the journey that I'm on because going back to the journey that, as you guys know, I have proclaimed I'm now on, which is a left-hand path, and I know nothing of the left-hand path, and I'm just learning and trying to find those that I can trust to learn from. And as you know, I'd honed in on one particular content creator, and as what usually happens when I start deep diving their videos, I then start finding contradictions. And hey, we're all allowed to change our minds, but it creates a little bit of um, distrust in me as to regards to thinking of starting to hand my money over when they are trying to sell something which is, as Michael rightly said, which is within us. But I think from my perspective, I kind of feel like I need the guidance to help get deeper into my shadow self. Um, but like I say, I'm very acutely aware of those that are doing the hard sell. I just don't like the hard sell. It's why the business that I've just mentioned to you regarding the root products, I know they're good products, but I can't bring myself to do the hard sell with people. And interestingly enough, I used to be in sales, I used to be in recruitment, um, but I left that because I got tired of the hard sell. Um, so maybe that's like more fool me. Maybe I should become more hardcore and more hard sell and start charging for things. I mean, I'm the cheapest on the caravan park regarding my holiday lets, because I want to be reasonable for people. But it doesn't stop the site fees going up each year. I think that's one of the things that. But anyway, so I just wanted to come on and amongst everything else just talk about what to expect if you are going on the path of meditation, wanting to be in touch with the unseen realms, and you have had experiences with psychedelics. You're not going to have the same, it's not going to be as vivid, and you're not going to have those experiences every single time. Like, I've read sometimes people are doing a magic ritual and they'll get nothing from it, because it is all about one's intention. It's like when you go into a meditation. If you go into that meditation half-heartedly and you really can't be bothered, like if I'm in a mood that I can't be bothered, then I don't meditate because I know I'm not going to get anything from it because I'm feeling too restless. And I know they say to meditate to try and calm the mind, but I haven't mastered the ability. If I'm restless and I'm restless and I'm fidgety and going into a meditation to try and sit quietly, I'm just going to end up becoming more aware of how restless and fidgety I am. And I'm having discussions with a friend at the moment is that ADHD. I don't want to be put into a box, but it's an element that's helping me to understand myself, understand why I'm flaky with the videos, and in fact, understanding why I'm flaky with pretty much everything that I set out to do. I set off with the best will and intention. Um, I'll give you an example yesterday. So I did the video, I wasn't happy with the video. So I went to go and sit down to go and do whatever I'd thought I was going to go and do. A second later, I'm up thinking I'm going to move my sofa. Then I decided I wasn't going to move my sofa because I wouldn't be able to see the birds. Sat back down to read yet another book that I've bought, Kabbalah Magic. But instead of picking up that book, I picked up my computer. Then a second later, I was like, no, I'm going to dye my hair. And that's pretty much how my day pans out. I plan to do something, even the conversations that I have with you guys, I'm all over the show and I'm acutely aware of it. But hey, you're either going to find it endearing and it's a part of me, or it's going to really get on your nerves. I can't help how you respond to me. So, but yes, again, the ADHD, it's an exploration um, of why a meal for me is picking up a block of cheese rather than actually making something. Like, I'm having to really adjust how I eat at the moment because I'm on the change. Um, Yay. I'm on homeopathy for that because my hot flushes are starting to become more frequent and more intense. And I was like, right, can't deal with this. And I refuse to go on HRT. Um, yeah, I just don't want to go on HRT. So I'm on homeopathy, and that is actually doing something. It's helping. My flushes are less frequent. My mood is a little bit better as well, although not great, but it is better. So yes, going back. So the food that I'm having to eat, I literally can't eat carbohydrates. Well, I can eat carbohydrates, but I won't lose any weight with eating the carbohydrates. So I'm having to go more keto, which is really hard for somebody like me who doesn't cook, isn't particularly a foodie. Like, I haven't eaten yet this morning. I get bored with food. So, I used to fill my calories up with a packet of biscuits. And of course, I've had to cut the sugar out. So I've had to start eating fish. And again, even the psychology with that, I'll eat salmon and prawns, but I haven't yet brought myself to pick up and bring home and, well, buy a packet of cod, because there's a psychology between the difference between salmon and cod, and there actually is no difference. But I can't bring myself to buy the cod because when it's packaged, it looks more like a fish than what the salmon does. I know, go figure, I need help. Obviously, I'm eating the cheese, I'm eating the eggs. So, and to eat a vegetarian keto diet, you've got to eat a lot of freaking food. I can't eat that much food. Like, when I go out for meals with friends, I literally eat like a pigeon. And the reason why I had put on weight is, one, I was on the change, and two, because I was stocking up on calories with biscuits. And that's why that's how I've got through life up until this point. Whereas now I'm having to really hone in and think about what I'm putting in my mouth in order for me to lose weight, but still maintain a calorie or a nutritionally balanced diet. So yes, the fish has had to come in, and yay, I am losing weight. I'm starting to get more definition around my shoulders. I don't know if you can see, I've lost a little bit off my face, but I don't want to go too gone. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Feeling a little bit, just perplexed, I think, is the word one could use. Perplexed with my own decisions in life, perplexed with the journey that I'm on and the information that comes in, even perplexed with people going on about the weather. Yes, it's cold for June, and they're papping on about the geoengineering. Do you know it's really geoengineering just because they've told us it's geoengineering? Do we categorize? Is that the only reason why they're doing it? Is there something bigger going on? If it's in the mainstream, I like to think it's something bigger. And actually, I was talking to the farmer a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the climate change crap. And of course, he's coming from it from a different perspective to what you or I might. But he was saying how he's experienced snow in June, so it cycles, it's all cyclical. And I actually think the chemtrailing is something to do more to do with the sun, you know. And one, are they trying to hide the grand solar minimum? That's a potentiality. I've picked up a little bit about Sirius. I don't know too much about it, but Sirius and the sun, I think they're coming, are they hiding things from us rather than just trying to make everybody miserable and depressed? Because on that, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she's got a son who lives in Cyprus, and it's 35 degrees. So they're not doing it all over the world. It just seems to be at the moment concentrated over the UK. One has to ask the question, why. You know, with every question, there's a massive why that comes with it. So I really appreciate your comments. I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. Just because, because I've got nothing to sell you apart from my course. If you want to come to advice from me to say, don't buy anything when you are in an emotional state where you can't make the best decisions, wait. That's the best advice I can give you if you don't want to keep losing money. Thank you for watching if you've got this far, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye now.